Let me ask you something. If saving money made people rich, why are the hardest working people still broke? If stacking cash worked, why does the dollar buy less and less every year? See, most people think financial freedom starts with income, and it doesn't. It starts with ownership. And that's why silver might be the most underestimated and underappreciated metal on the earth because it might be the key to closing the wealth gap once and for all. The challenge is that everyone wants to have money, but few are willing to become the type of person who can handle it. Most people chase wealth hoping that it will change their life, but wealth doesn't change you, it really reveals you. That's why stacking silver matters, because it's not just about the ounces, it's about the identity. Silver gives you a way to practice wealth before you own a lot of it. They love to say gold is the money of kings and silver is the money of gentlemen. I don't really care for that. And let me share what I think is more important to understand. Gold is for preservation, but silver is for transformation. Silver is the metal that gives the average person access to real money, the kind you can touch and hold and build from. That's why I call it the gateway drug to wealth building. Because most of us, silver is where we actually stop becoming consumers and start becoming owners. Silver, the money of builders, of doers, of people climbing out of the system. And that's why they hate us owning silver and they want to keep it suppressed. Silver isn't for bartering or some kind of for the end of the world thing. No, the truth is silver is a gateway asset and an asset that you can feel. And when you do, it actually changes everything. Pick up 10 ounces of silver and feel that weight in your hand. That's what money used to feel like, solid, cold, and honest. Most people never get that experience with gold because the price is out of reach. But silver, it lets you start building ownership muscles right now. Stacking silver is financial weight training, literally and figuratively, because the stuff gets heavy quickly. I'm going to give you 5 powerful transformations silver facilitates, which is again why they hate silver. 1, it teaches ownership. You move from paper promises to physical wealth. 2, it builds discipline. You learn to trade consumption for accumulation. 3, it resets your relationship with money. You stop chasing income and you start building assets. 4, it creates momentum. Every ounce stacked becomes further proof of progress. And it's a spark. That spark keeps you going, keeps you motivated. And 5, it builds belief. Once you see your stack grow, you realize you can actually create wealth one decision at a time. Silver, as I said, is the gateway drug to wealth because it gives you the access to tangible value early without needing a 6-figure income or some Wall Street broker to help you. But here's the trap that most stackers fall into. They start stacking and they never grow past it. If silver is your savings, you've heard me say this before, you can't save your way to wealth. You can't stack your way to financial freedom. You can only protect your buying power. Silver gives you the foundation, but you have to build the financial house. So let's pull up the Stacker's Wealth Pyramid. And some of you remember me showing you this before, but if not, at the bottom we have our personal finances. That's budgeting, debt control, emergency fund. Then we have precious metals. That's your stack, your hedge, your foundation. And then above that, we have the real estate and business or commercial real estate and equities at the top. As you move up this pyramid, risk, knowledge, and leverage all increase. You need to upskill yourself. Silver is what forces most of us to finally deal with our personal finances so that we can stack consistently. That's the first transformation. As you move up the pyramid, you see that risk, knowledge, and leverage all increase. Silver is what forces us to finally deal with our personal finances so that we can stack consistently. That's the first transformation from consumer to owner. Now, I've shown you this diagram as well, the be, do, have pyramid. Talk about this concept in my book, The Beginner's Guide to Growing Wealth and Investing. You should definitely check it out. It's on Amazon. But at the base, we have the be, and that's your money mindset. And next, we have the do, your personal finance skills. And at the top, we have the have, your financial literacy and results. And I hope you can see the link here, but your mindset determines who you become, which allows you to actually do the act of stacking. The point I want to really drive home here is each level requires you to level up your beliefs, your knowledge, and your skills. The skills and the tools you need at each level change. And that's what my book actually helps you do. It helps you build your wealth cycle, creating a system that accelerates your wealth growth because you need a system. And system stands for save yourself time, energy, and money. And once you have the structure, your wealth compounds faster. This is why I think there are two critical numbers you want to reach when it comes to stacking silver. First, you want 100 ounces of silver because it becomes your starting line. That's about $5,000. And it's not pocket change, but it's very achievable. And when you realize that most Americans can't handle a $1,000 emergency, that 100-ounce stack becomes a statement piece. It's proof that you're not waiting for rescue, that you're building your own foundation. But don't park there. Use that base to grow up to 1,000 gold, silver equivalent ounces. And what I mean by that is that it's a mix of gold and silver, whatever preference you have, but somewhere around $50,000 worth of gold and silver. Because as you move up the pyramid and your skills and you add assets and you begin multiplying your effort, that foundation will allow you to construct an empire state sized building called your financial house. That's how you close the wealth gap, not by waiting for the system to fix itself, but by becoming your own system, by developing and optimizing your personal wealth cycle. Silver is that spark that lights the fire, and the process of reaching 100 ounces starts and confirms that transformation process. That's why they hate you having silver. If you're ready to turn stacking into a strategy, grab the Beginner's Guide to Growing Wealth and Investing on Amazon. I'm running a release discount right now. It's $2.99 as ebook, $12.99 for a paperback. The link is in the description. It walks you through the exact steps to build your wealth cycle and transform how you think, act, and grow money. Because it isn't about metal, it's about mindset. Silver is just where the journey starts. In the comments section, how many ounces did you have when you noticed that stacking silver changed you? What's your goal number for silver ounces? Or simply put an A+ in the comments if you love stacking and want to show me some love, or if you just want everyone to know that you always stack smarter and never stop learning. And speaking of stacking smart, let's talk about a company helping investors multiply their metal returns. This sponsored portion of the video is being disseminated on behalf of Giant Mining. With that out of the way, let's talk about what seems to be an extremely exciting investment opportunity in copper, especially given its addition to the critical minerals list. If you've done any research into this, then you know as an investor, there just aren't a lot of solid copper opportunities. And the few that are, well, you definitely don't want to go vacation to those countries. Okay, that might have been a little mean spirited, but regardless, this is what makes today's sponsor, Giant Mining Corp, a compelling case for copper. And the company trades on the CSE under ticker BFG and on the OTC as BFGFF. Given the way that our world is changing, Giant Mining Corp is the exact type of company that will do exceedingly well over the next 4 years, in my opinion. Why is this? Because they are a Canadian company exploring and mining for copper, gold, and silver in the US. While I think exploring in the US will become a bonus for this company under the Trump administration, let's also talk about the fact that they're in Nevada. There can't be a more mining friendly state, not to mention the geology in Nevada is so rich. Giant's flagship project, Majuba Hill Copper Property in Nevada, is a tremendous opportunity. I can spend a whole video sharing the irrefutable and compelling case for copper, but ultimately it comes down to these two things for me. There are a whole lot of people in this world that want to live like us in the United States. As their countries gain wealth, the electrification of the world will continue to drive unprecedented demand for copper. Two, related to electrification is the EV revolution, be it electric or hybrids. Either way, it all uses a ton of copper. Copper we just don't have, as the imbalance between growing demand and potential constrained supply creates a very compelling case for copper. And this is why I like Giant Mining. Giant Mining's Majuba project, as I shared, is in a great location, not only in terms of being in the US, but specifically in Nevada. It has a rich history of mining, which means that they are already advancing their project during a pro-mining presidency in a pro-mining state with excellent infrastructure and an impressive resource with tons of potential. Now, let's talk about the stock price. You know, I like that when the price has been bombed out like this, and that is certainly the case in this situation. The stock has traded as high as $8 in 2021, and now it's trading around 20 cents, somewhere around 15. That's insane and tells you a lot about the brutal nature of the mining business. While the stock has been plummeting, all Giant has done is continue to explore and target the estimated range between 50 million tons and 100 million tons of copper, with an estimated range of 0.15 to 0.30 copper. There is also a high grade zone potential here with 10 to 20 million tons of zero point 0.4 to zero point 0.8 copper, as the current evaluation doesn't seem to really reflect the real project's potential. So, Giant Mining Corp has the potential to be an amazing asset, but this is mining, so you all know that there is far from certainty here. And what we need to be sure is, as investors, is that we know that there's not enough copper. And at some point, copper mines are going to be needed. Giant is one of those opportunities. I need to remind you, though, as Uncle Rick Rule says, don't confuse the inevitable with the imminent. We all know mining is long and slow, but that doesn't mean you can't make some decent money in the short term buying something like this, which is clearly undervalued. Keep an eye out as they continue expanding the mineralization at depth and laterally in hopes of finding an additional high grade copper zone. Majuba Hill has the potential to provide a significant domestic supply of copper to the U.S., aligning with the growing demand for us to secure our own resources. With the favorable supply and demand dynamics and the promising project, Giant Mining deserves some serious consideration. Go do your due diligence to check them out at www.giantminingcorp.com. And thank you again for today's sponsor, Giant Mining Corp, trading on the CSE under ticker BFG and on the OTC as BFGFF.